All right, let me test to make sure I got sound because I have certainly done one of these broadcasts with no sound before. So bear with me here just a minute. Let's see. All right, testing, 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 one, two. All right, testing, testing. All right, so I got sound. All right, so I'm gonna basically do my update for anybody that's been following along. I have been doing these videos to document my process and methodology of trading. So I'm going to go through kind of my same basics that I go through. And if any of you have been following this over time, right, you will notice that the indicators that I use actually work. So I'm trying to distribute this so other people who may be needing this, whether they're traders or not, right, could have a good understanding of the health of any particular asset at any given time. So let me share my screen here and we'll get started. There we go. So I'm going to start off with XRP as usual, since most of the people who know me probably know me from the XRP community, right? So we'll start off there. Hold on, I'm going to need this. I hate when I do that. Stop sharing. All right, so I'm going to have to reshare again. Just a minute. Wrong screen. Damn. Bear with me here. Let's share the right screen. Share. There we go. All right. Why does it keep giving me this? This is the weekly chart anyway, so I'll start here. So again, for people who are not familiar with my thesis, this yellow line is going to be the most important thing that we'll be looking at. So just for a minute here, I'm probably going to take some of these other EMAs out just so we can kind of look at what's primary in here. 3 is white, 11 is the blue, the 19 is the yellow, which is the most important one. Then you can see the 38 and 56 that I have here. But as we can see, we did get above the 19, which is the most important aspect of this methodology. And we also got a 3 cross. So if I was to zoom this in, when I say a 3 cross, you can see that the 3, which is the white line, crossed above the 19 here. And we got the blue line that's threatening to cross now. So if I were to take these candles out, you could probably see this a little better. And this is what we're basically waiting on for next kind of momentum push up, is we're waiting for this blue line to then cross over this yellow line. And I got this in here because it was kind of marking the weekly 19, but I'll take it out because it doesn't need to be here for this discussion. So we're waiting for this blue line to cross over this yellow one. Then we should get some more momentum that'll get us past these EMAs here that we're dealing with, the 38 and 56. Hopefully this 3 will cross the 38 as well. We can continue this move up. So right now your entry point for people who are very conservative, who took the weekly entry, you're looking great. And you're waiting for this cross to continue this move up. So we're still in a bullish pattern as long as price is above this weekly 19. And we haven't given that up, right? So even if I drop this down, hopefully I can. I'm trying to drop it to a daily chart. It's not acting right on me today. Let's see here. Hold on. Why is this thing not acting right? Bear with me. So I'm not getting out of my screen here. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna pull up another one. Bear with me here just a minute. All right, that's how I want my screen to look. Let me share this again. My apologies for this screen acting crazy today. We'll get it all in here. All right, so bingo, this is what we want to be looking at. All right, so again, we've been in this pretty much downtrend since we could see here the price lost to 19. And we could easily identify that this downtrend was going to begin here. So downtrend started here. We never did test the 19 again until we actually broke out. Now we're in the uptrend. And so what we're really trying to do now is get past these resistances here until we get into what I call the blue skies area, right? So important thing to note in looking at this particular theory that I use here, right? Anytime you have this yellow line and your blue and white, right? All up under here, like this main beige line that you have here in all these EMAs, these are now resistance. So when this white line kind of becomes the top line, you're in a completely bearish kind of scenario, right? And that you have the resistance to get above. I don't mean bearish in general, but I mean all the resistance that you have to fight through. When you're ideally looking for a parabolic price movement to the upside, right? You're always in these patterns where the 3 and the 9 and the 11 are stacked from least to greatest, right? So as you can see back in here, we had the 3 here, we had the 11 here, we had the 19 here. So it was fanning out to our most bullish scenario, right? And then we had the lawsuit and it crashed, right? But then if we look right when we recovered, and I'll zoom in a little bit, what you had was that same scenario. So you got your 3 back above, it's the highest line, the 9, and then the 19, right? You got the cross and price above. And this is what you're ultimately looking for. It doesn't matter what the asset is. You're looking for price to get above the 19, along with the 3 and the 11 in that corresponding order. And as long as that order held and price held, you got this parabolic movement because there's no EMAs above this to really act as resistance, right? And so you get this and you get all this profit taking that happens. You lose the 19 here, right? Over here, you start to get your cross, right? Your 3 cross that accelerated that to the downside. Ultimately, you got your 9 cross that accelerated, pushed that price all the way down here, right? And so as you were working your way back up, you have EMAs to get past. You're looking for this moment, as I stated, where price is getting above the 19 as well as the 3 and the 11 coming in this order from least to greatest, right? So 3, 11, 19, no EMAs above it. And you get this ability to do these tests up around, trying to retest your recent high or all-time high, right? But you want these patterns where you're above the previous EMAs that are now acting as support instead of resistance. And then we see what happens here. Price loses. You get your EMAs crossed. It accelerates all of that to the downside. And then you have these EMAs that you have to eventually work back through as price is trying to recover. We noticed the 9 never recovered. 3 did recover a little bit. Price did recover. Quickly lost it. You got both crosses to the downside and price go under. And we see that bearish scenario play out. So now what we're looking for is, of course, we wanted price to get above the 19. We want to get this cross, but we want to eventually drag the 3 back above. We want to drive the 11 back above this cluster, and we want to drag the 19 back above this cluster, right? And so when we get that back in that order, 3, 11, then 19, and there's in that order above this cluster, we can have some ability to then get price discovery without the resistances in the way. And so that's what we're building up to. And this may take some time, but you know what to look for. And if for any reason price loses your 19, which today is at 43.20, then you kind of be back in that bearish scenario. And a person like myself will be taking some off the table in anticipation of knowing how far ever it goes down. At least I'm profiting from my portfolio. Now, again, if you're a little more risk averse, then you can do all this on the daily as well. You don't have to wait for the conservative 19 that actually indicates the actual trend turn, right? Because you want to be above the weekly 19 for this trend as far as the market trend for this particular asset to actually turn, right? Because you can get a lot of volatility looking at it from a daily standpoint, but you can still get those early entries from a daily or early exits. So one of the last entries we had was here. You came in, went on this run, used the 19 as a support. We didn't lose it until yesterday, where we had an opportunity to kind of take this ride down, maybe take a 9% or so. It retested, you got back above, or you just entered and exit at a net trade because your 19 didn't move, and you went out right back in and then went into profit from your lower entry that was here on the daily. So if you're looking for early exits, you'll be looking for this daily price to lose, and then you can consider taking an exit. But as we can tell here, this is that bearish scenario that I was talking about. So your white line is here, and then you get this corresponding order, right, with your 3, 11, and 19 all being down here. And so eventually, before we could get truly bullish, is we're trying to work these lower numbers, 3, 11, and 19, back above the highest EMA that we have, which is this particular white line. So we had the price break up. We started getting the 3 cross. We started getting 11 cross. And we got the 19 cross, right? So this is turning this back into a bullish scenario, at least on this daily. Now you don't have the resistance above this, right? The resistance is actually there because you can find it on the weekly chart. But on this daily chart, again, you're in that kind of blue skies area until you at least rotate over to weekly and find where that actual support is. So this is the setup for when your price kind of trending, and this is the kind of setup when you're working through these resistances, but they're easy to spot. So yeah, you should be pretty much, sitting comfortable right now, knowing that XRP should be incrementing up over time. And for anything to look for as far as it going back in the lower price ranges, you just be looking for this early break below the daily. Of course, the daily could recover. So your weekly is going to be your indicator when what I call the market trend is turned for that asset, right? So if it gets below the weekly 19, you'll know that asset is 100% bearish. It's not necessarily bearish when it goes up under this daily, right? Because that's just your daily volatility that then could recover like it did on this move and continue moving up. But if you're looking for early entries and exit, this is how you would play that. So not sure if anybody has any particular questions about XRP's price action. But yeah, that's what we're looking at. So it's still in a very bullish scenario. We know what to look for. If you're looking for an early exit, today it's there, 47.59, right? And if you start getting crosses, then you can know that it's probably going to accelerate that. If you don't get any crosses, right, you're probably going to have one of these moments where it's going to quickly recover. So as we got this downward movement here, notice your 3 never crossed, your 9 certainly never crossed. And if I want to zoom in on that, y'all can see a little better what I'm saying. Oops, excuse me. See a little bit better what I'm referring to. So when I'm talking about crosses, right, I'm saying if you zoom in here, you can see that man, I'm gonna take the candles out. We can see that the 3 started to decline and then recover. It never did cross back over your 19. Did cross over there, so that gave us some of that momentum to the downside when it wicked. But then it quickly recovered. Now we're looking for it to cover back above this 11. That'll continue the movement to the upside. The 11 obviously never threatened the 19, so that was obvious that move was probably going to stall out and not go much further to the downside, right? And of course, price never did leave it. So now we're just looking for this to cross back up and continue on to this upward movement. If we would have gotten this 3 crossing this 19, that probably would have been a little more of a bearish signal that this down movement could have been a little worse than it was. And if you got the 11, probably even more worse, right? But you can judge this by looking at where these EMAs are in relationship to your 19 and where price is in relationship to your 19. And that's what I'm trying to articulate with this particular video series, so that people, when having these conversations about what TA can actually do, you can see with confidence based on the data that these trends are 100% able to be viewed and actionable, right? Based on what you're seeing. So this is your XRP chart. I'm going to quickly go to Bitcoin. So I know a lot of people are interested in Bitcoin as it's kind of a quote unquote leader in the market, as many may say. So here you are on your daily. If you were looking for some of your early entries, you did have a break here. You lost it, went back out, picked up you some more Bitcoin, had a little volatility around your 19. So you had some extra trades on these days, finally got back above, ended up losing it a few days later, right? Got above here, quickly failed it. So right now, even on a daily perspective, Bitcoin is under is 19 with no crosses. We can see that the 3 did cross here, but your 11 didn't. So that's what kind of led to this failure, because if you were going to continue this move to the upside, your 11 would have crossed, and that probably would have gave you the strength to stay above. But with your 11 never crossing and price breaking back down, you lost it all. 11 is currently under. Your 3 is currently under. So what you need to be seeing on Bitcoin for this to kind of recover is you need this 3 to cross back up. You need the 11 to cross back up and price to go back up. So right now, this is where Bitcoin is at. Yeah, it's kind of stuck in this bottom range, right? Trying to get some momentum to get past it. Like it was doing here. Almost got your 9 cross as your 3 was above, but failed. So we haven't had much action at breaking above this until this 9, of course, gets back, 11, excuse me, gets back above, 3 gets back above, and price gets back above. If we look at this from the weekly standpoint, zoom out a little bit, we just don't have any recovery here on Bitcoin just yet, right? So Bitcoin at some point is going to provide a great opportunity, probably rotate out of some of the other assets that have gone up. If they start to lose their 19 and Bitcoin starts to gain its at the same time, be a perfect rotation move. But for Bitcoin to get back in its actual kind of macro bullish scenario, needs to get above 22,988 as of today. It's not even defeating the 11. All of these were fails. So, just not much strength into Bitcoin at this current time. And the charts indicate it, right? You still have these crosses that are all crossing lower numbers, crossing bigger numbers. It's continuing this downward pressure. So it's just where Bitcoin is at. There's nothing really to say positive. It's not breaking out. It's not recovering. A lot of people may be thinking it's doing the exact same thing it has been doing since we lost the 19. And that was clearly visible right here. So we lost that obvious downtrend. It's just it is what it is, right? There's no, let the charts make the decisions and take your emotions and feelings and fundamentals out of it, right? There is your moment that you look for on any of these assets. You want price and the 2 crosses, 3 and 11. When you get that, you get your movement. When you get it to the downside, you get your down movement. It's just that simple, right? So anytime price is losing it, like we had here, you get crosses, downside. So what you're always looking for are these magic moments, because it's the only time that you're going to have these parabolic moves, price and the 2 EMAs, 3 and 11, crossing, right? Getting above all of your resistances, which are these EMAs, and you got green light for upward movement as it maintains your 19 on the way up. But you're looking for those crosses and price breaks. Same thing here was your downward, upward, downward, without fail. Doesn't matter what the asset is. So I've been proving this for some months now. There's never going to be any fail in this theory as far as I'm concerned. So I want people to be able to learn this and effectively be able to manage their portfolios a lot better. Let's see what else I have here. I'm going to go to the quant price chart because I know a lot of people have been talking about quant, and I kind of chronicled this months ago. So anybody that caught this should have done well. But again, it's not my opinion on this thing. It was just what the charts were saying. So if you were conservative and you were looking for these setups on the weekly, right? This was your setup that you were looking for. Price got above, 3 got above. Eventually, it took a while, but your 11 got above, and that was your moment. All right. So could have caught the daily early entry on the daily, and I've shown that a million times just to prove the concept. You're always looking for these moments, and you can scout these out on any asset. Sometimes I go hunting around, so I look and see where can I find that, particular pattern setup that I know is the money maker, right? So I come here as using H bar as an example, and I say, well, it's not quite set up yet, right? Particularly on a weekly situation, we're just now trying to get above the 11 with a cross, right? But we're nowhere near crossing all of this. So that one's got a little ways to go. I was hunting around for another setup, came here, said, well, not quite in that pattern with this asset either, right? This one is algo. It's stretch that out, right? It's kind of trending down after its fail of the 19, right? So that one's not quite ready to go yet. You go to another asset, so you look at XDC, and look, there you go, right? So if I were planning on scouting out an opportunity that should net a good trade opportunity. We got the 3 over the 11. We got price holding above the 3 and the 11. So we got a squeeze play going here. It's trapped under the 19, but using the 3 as support. So this looks like it's trying to either break above this or end up failing, right? But if it breaks above, this will be a good trade at 0.038, excuse me, 0.03388, right? Take an entry. Hopefully you get your cross, 3 cross, you get your 11 cross, and it can continue. It'll probably have to test here at your 0423 and continue testing these. But you got a good setup going on here. So price gets above and you get your crosses. XDC is one to have on your radar, right? And you can just kind of search through and see if you can find any more similar setups. And you'll never miss out on some of these parabolic moves when you know what to look for, right? So your BNB token, kind of in there, but yeah, you've been failing this 19 for some weeks now. Got even below your 200 again. Your 3 is looking down. Your 11 is looking down. So nothing to talk about till it gets above 291 and you get your crosses. Otherwise, it's sitting flat, right? So nothing to see there. Solano, nothing to see there. Under 3, under 11, no crosses apparent. We look at ADA. Under 3, under 11, no crosses apparent or potential crosses apparent there. Assets just wallowing around at the bottom. We look at ETH. Under 3, under 11, no crosses, just hovering around at the bottom, right? So there's nothing really to see with a lot of these assets other than XRP, XDC. A lot of these other ones I don't really kind of trade. I just use them to gauge the market. But yeah, it kind of is what it is. I'll quickly look at gold just to see what it's doing. But yeah, look at there. Gold's kind of tanking under your 19s, under your 11, under your 3, no crosses to the upside. That's a really kind of bearish scenario, right? And we knew gold was going to lose it. Lost its 19 here, got its cross, got its 11 cross, and the same scenario, right? So this is important to know that it doesn't matter what the asset is. This method will literally track anything in it if you know what to look for. So easily short on gold would have made you a nice little bit of money here. But yeah, it's definitely in this bearish scenario. Yeah, it is what it is, right? But yeah, you can kind of see that if you were scouting the moves that I like to catch, right, your entry point would have been right there. You had your 3 cross, your 11 cross, and price went above. It worked out of that resistance, flipped this thick white line from being the most top line to the most bottom line. You know you were in that bullish scenario, and it took off. Had a little moment there where it dipped back below, but used those other lines as support. So that was important for that flip because now you have support instead of resistance. It used that support, broke back above, and took off. So literally, like I said, all of this is readable during this method. I don't have to go back and change numbers or anything, right? Check on the dollar right quick. We just go over there. But again, the moments, if you were a Forex trader, and you would have been easy to spot when this thing took off, there was your price break above, your 3 and your 11, blue line crossed. Of course, it had to fight through these EMAs because your thick white line was on the top here. But as we fought through those EMAs, we got the 3 above all the EMAs, we got the 9 above all the EMAs, and we got the 19 above the EMAs. We fanned out in the opposite direction. But you can see that it used this 19 completely as support as it worked this way all the way up to these places where we're at today. So you would never had to exit the trade, and you would have caught all of this price movement to the upside by just understanding the rule. Like you're in here and you don't go out until it breaks below. So you didn't have a break below, and that means you're still in today, way up here from 113, right? And this is your kind of bullish pattern. You got your numbers lined up in succession, 3, 11, 19, 38, 50, so on, right? All in consecutive order because it's in a very bullish pattern. So just wanted to show that, well, of course, before we're really expecting any really big movement in the crypto market as a whole, I'm still waiting for this to lose the weekly EMA for your Dixie or your dollar index, right? And today that loss is about 108 28, right? Back weeks ago, I was been tracking this. It was 106, right? It's 105. It was, but this exit is getting pulled up as this 19 is continuing with the price action that we're seeing. So now our break to the bear for Dixie would be 108. And until we get that, the dollar continues on with its strength, right? Which is important because XRP has been able to kind of get some run alongside the dollar, which is a little unusual. When the dollar's running like this, it keeps the market locked in, kind of like Bitcoin and the rest of these assets are. So it's a little unusual that XRP is moving the way that it is with the dollar with this much strength. But again, we'll take it, right? But yeah, most important thing I wanted to show today, doesn't matter the asset, and it doesn't matter, if you're looking back in time or if you're looking forward, because some people may say, oh, it's just hindsight if you're looking at all this in the past. But I've been running these videos to prove that this same thing is done in future tense. And so you can see all through the previous videos that, of course, you never had an exit, right? And I've been proving this. If you wanted to short the Dixie, right, you'd be shorting it if it broke down from here. But right now, it was an obvious long position, right? So it doesn't matter the asset. You can spot any trend. I think that I've kind of proven this, but I'll continue to make some of these videos as I have time. Shellfish, hey, if you are still here, pop a comment in. HELO. Yeah. So again, I'm going to keep chronologizing this information so that people can have some baseline of information to work with. And maybe you change yours to the 20, maybe you change yours to the 17, but I hope that I'm providing enough information where people can see that this is a valid scientific method of trying to evaluate this information, right? And so if you hear me be a little critical of other people's technical analysis or whatever, it's just that I hold myself to a higher standard of using actual data, taking out emotions, taking out fundamentals, right? If you're a technical analysis, your information is in the charts. You don't have to say, well, I'm comparing this and I'm comparing this and I'm comparing that, right? Your ability to technically analyze the data should be what you're presenting, right? And so all of my information is coming directly from the indicators and the price action. I'm not taking fundamentals and history or anything, fractals or any of that into consideration. I'm just using these indicators, and whatever the indicators say is what I'm going to roll with. And I hope that I'm doing a good job of proving how reliable this is so that people can be more successful in managing their portfolios. So I noticed I got a few people in the chat. So if you want to come up, you can hit the button. Maybe I didn't put the link in the YouTube so y'all can't see it. Let me see if I can do that right quick. Invite. But yeah, if y'all have an asset or a comment you want to ask, I'm going to see if I can put this link in right quick, and you're welcome up. So let's see if I can get this done real quick here. Maybe if I stop sharing, it'll move a little faster. Computer don't like to do a whole bunch of things at once. Where you at, man? My channel. Here's the video. Bear with me. I should be there in a second. It's pulling up. And there we go. I should be there in a second. It's pulling up. All right. So there's a link in the YouTube stream now. If you want to come on up and ask a question or anything, you're welcome. Hit that link and join the stream. I can pull up any asset that you guys may have in your portfolio that I obviously don't. We can take a look at that, or if you want to ask a question or make a comment, I'll hang out here for just a few more seconds. Here, I'll go to the chart while I take a little break and wait. Another thing I guess I'll show here that kind of always find it very important is the price of XRP to Bitcoin, right? Because we're not just competing with the dollar. Sometimes Bitcoin is stronger than the dollar, right? So it's the strongest asset to kind of gauge by. But yeah, if we go back, look how strong we are against Bitcoin. We've gotten in that clear area, blue skies area on the weekly, right? So we've completely made it through all the resistance. We're getting all the requisite prerequisite crosses. So 3 got above the highest EMA. Your 9 is making its way up. Your 19 is right there behind. So now we're trying to drag these on up as we continue strength against Bitcoin. But if we zoom out on this a little bit, another important thing is taking consideration that this is us historically, right? So here's where the flare things start to go off, and a lot of people were adding to their bags to try to get the airdrop. So we had this kind of upward movement that was kind of a manipulative situation, in my opinion. Then we got the lawsuit and we dropped down to the bottom. We quickly recovered. We got the 3 and the 11 cross, and this little price action here was around when XRP got back in the $1.50, whatever range it was. Some profit taking went on. This little area when it got strong again, you got your 3 and 11 cross, came up, got knocked down by the highest EMA, right? But price again was up in the dollar ranges at this time against Bitcoin. Bitcoin was like in its, $50,000, $60,000 range, right? We were gaining on Bitcoin even then, and we had some very high prices. So we ended up failing it, got back in this bearish scenario. Price was lagging up under this 19, completely broke down. We tried to work across. We worked right around that 19 for a while, and we got a breakout. So if we look where we're at today, right, this area in comparison to here was back when XRP was above $1, right, in this same scenario as far as price to Bitcoin. So if we get back into a bullish, trend for the entire market, being in this area against Bitcoin could certainly mean dollar plus prices. And if we start to get higher in this range, right, as we continue these crosses, it does show some potential for XRP to potentially get $2, $3, if it continues this strength against Bitcoin. It's not just the Bitcoin. If we go to the dominance chart, right, we can see that XRP is actually gaining its strength back against the entire market. So yeah, if we go back before the lawsuit, we were averaging like 3% of the entire market. With that manipulative stuff, we got as high as 5%. The lawsuit brought us down to 1% of the entire market, right? And we've been trying to work ourselves back, right? And we see how that played out. So now we're getting some of the most strength that we've had, right? Because none of these upward movements, even when we got in the dollar, right? The 9, yeah, it did kind of cross here, but quickly failed. We got a 3 cross, but no 9. We got a 3 cross, but no 9 there. We didn't even get across there. And now we got kind of both of them going on. So this is some of the strongest strength that we have seen for XRP against the market, right, since before this lawsuit. Because look where we're at. We're sitting here today, right? And that's kind of clearing any of this stuff since the lawsuit. So it's important that we're gaining our market position back. And if we can get, up in here 3-4%, right, it's definitely going to bode well. We lost a lot of strength to the crypto market, and that was identifiable by the 19 as well, right? So 19 never fails, right? We lost all of that way back here in February of 19. The market dominance got below the 19, the 3 and 11 crossed, and it gave us that momentum that eventually brought us here. Tried to retest it and failed, brought us here. Tried to retest it and failed, brought us here. We had the manipulation lawsuit and we lost everything, right? So this is a pretty big fall from, our 11 some odd percent that we've had before, or even some of these ranges of 5%, 3% that we had before this lawsuit. So XRP is trying to get back its position that it had before this lawsuit. And this is a good indicator that you can kind of see all this in real time and see how its relationship in the 19, it makes all of this movement visible, right? So again, it's all things 19. Check the stream right quick, see what we got going on. Cash to start sharing your screen again. Oh shit, I didn't, oops, excuse me. My bad. Present. Oh man, I'm doing all that talking and didn't even have the screen up. My bad. So there we go. If you can see this is the dominance chart that I was talking about, but didn't have the damn chart up. But yeah, again, it is kind of significant. So I'll zoom out again and we'll look at it. But yeah, here is some of our historical place against the entire market, and we were 5%. We kind of got down here as at our lowest before the lawsuit at like 2.7. We had this manipulative action and then the lawsuit. right? So took us all the way down there below the 19. We see how we tried to fight to get back above it. And this is the first time that we kind of getting these crosses and price, and certainly to be above the highest EMA on a weekly chart. So it's not a snapshot of a short time period. This is your weekly chart. So it's very, very positive that we're back above even our highest EMA over here on the weekly and gaining our position back in the crypto market, not just against the dollar or Bitcoin, but our position against the entire crypto market. So this is very encouraging. I don't know how much I may have talked and didn't share on some of my previous screens before I went back to sharing, but this is definitely one that I wanted you all to see. I'll quickly go back to the Bitcoin one, I guess, because maybe I didn't have that up. That's the market cap. And there's your Bitcoin. So yeah, we see how strong we are against Bitcoin again. If I didn't have this up earlier when I was talking about it, this was lawsuit, pre-lawsuit, lawsuit. When XRP was in the dollar range, we were in here. And as I was saying, we're back in this little range where XRP was in the high dollars when Bitcoin was higher, right? And so this may play well when the entire market goes back bullish. We're showing a lot of strength in XRP right now. And I know a lot of people are questioning whether this is going to hold or last, but no one actually knows, and I don't even pretend to know. But what I do pretend to tell you is that if you start to lose these 19s, you'll know that the market is telling you to take some positions to the sell side, and you're probably going to have some downward movement. And so I always tracking everything by the 19, whether I'm looking at it against Bitcoin, whether I'm looking at its market dominance, or whether I'm looking at another asset. It's always its relationship to the 19 and the 3 and 11 crosses that'll always tell you the story. So thank you, Flare community, for letting me know that I didn't have the doggone screen sharing again. But yeah, I hope this is some great information. I don't even know if they got the Flare IOU on the chart. So since I got my man Flare here, and I love your videos, by the way, man. I'm a Flare warrior, so to speak. So it's important that I get kept, up on what's going on with the Flare ecosystem. It doesn't look like this thing really tracks Flare, huh? And the IOU price. Let's see, what is this? This is probably something else. X-Flare. No, that ain't it. FLR. Just trying to see if there's a way I can track Flare, but I guess not. Or maybe it will give me the IOU. US Flame. I'm not trying to Luna Flare Wrap, Flare Finance. Can't get the Flare IOU on that. I thought Poloniex had it at least. I don't see it. Luna Flare token. Yeah, I was gonna pull Flare up, man, take a look at that, but I guess not. It's not giving me a ticker for it here. I used to see it on Poloniex, so I'm kind of surprised it's not here. What's the other one? Songbird, US dollar. I can take a little look at that. Of course, we all know what Songbird is absolutely doing. Nothing, but we'll take a look at it nonetheless. But yeah, from a weekly standpoint, you're under your 3, you're under your 9. You'd be looking for a recovery here at about 0340. And then maybe we can start talking about Songbird again. Right now, it's in an obvious downtrend. Even if I took this to a shorter time frame, say like the daily, I don't think much will change on this, but we'll take a look. All right. Yeah, but you're kind of working a little progress up, trying to battle this 19 here. We kept losing it, definitely not getting any crosses. So till you get price of hold above here and you get your 3 and 11 back, you can check in on the daily, but you're not getting recovery right now. We are getting some testing of it, but no actual recovery. You can see your obvious downtrend. You lost it here on the 19. You lost your 3 and 11. That was the obvious sell movement. They capitulated to here. So again, doesn't matter the asset. We can even see that with this Songbird token. Hate that I couldn't pull up the Flare one. But yeah, certainly nice to have you in, Flare community. Cool, man. Probably because the IOUs, as you say. I'm sure there'll be a Flare soon after it has been distributed. Yeah, they'll definitely have price feed when it gets distributed. Just not there now. Pressure, I believe. I don't think we will see a reversal fundamentally until new liquidity enters Songbird in the form of SSS. Yeah, so right now, just in comment off of Flare Community's comment there, yeah, so we know that the FTSO system is just kind of constantly inflating new Songbird into the ecosystem. And so those FTSOs are getting a lot of rewards. People who are delegating are getting a lot of rewards. And there's not a whole lot to do with those rewards right now because you don't have the SS asset system up to then use that Songbird as collateral and other functionality, right? And so most of it is just rewards and then sell the rewards. And so we're seeing a lot of sell pressure as a result, right? When you get the ability to start using that Songbird, maybe in some additional DeFi capacities, as well as locking it up as collateral for applications for other assets to be brought over to the network, we'll start to see some of that get absorbed, hopefully. But yeah, you can always check in on the chart, look at where it's at in relationship to the 19. And if you don't want to miss out on a recovery of this, right, just be looking at when it breaks back above that either daily or more importantly, the weekly 19. And you can say, hey, look, it's a safe place, right, for me to expect some upward movement for Songbird. And we'll know how to spot that when the time comes by its relationship to the 19. But yeah, that's certainly where it's at today. And I certainly appreciate you coming in, Flare. So again, if y'all have any assets that y'all would like for me to analyze using this method that I use, y'all can always place them over in the chat. And if I click back over here and see it, I'll definitely pull it up. Or if it's just another asset in general, right? I'll pull that up as well. But yep, I think I've pretty much covered most of the stuff that is as it applies to TA. I would like to start doing some more videos that are not technical analysis in nature, because I do have an opinion on a lot of things that are going on in the XRP community and stuff like that, right? And I'm part of these discussions over on Twitter Spaces a lot of times. So I definitely have some opinions about it. I'll kind of look in the comment section to see if that may be something that y'all are interested in, and I can give some of my commentary. Again, if I do kind of get critical in a lot of my commentary, it's not out of any jealousy, envy, hate, or anything like that. It's just that some things that go on in this community are obviously not on the up and up. And so it puts a lot of us in a precarious situation to say, okay, do I speak about this stuff and give kind of fire to the fuel to the fire? Do I kind of just let it go and hope that the situation works itself out? And so we're always tasked with like, what do we do about it, right? But there's certainly some things that probably bear discussing, so that people don't get the wrong expectations and then are let down when a lot of these things that people are being promised as speculators don't actually materialize, right? So as well as even just some false basics about how some of these networks work and what their potential is and what the relationship may be with partners. A lot of this stuff gets really kind of stretched, right? And so to try to keep things reasonable, I've been considering kind of jumping into the commentary part of this beyond just the TAs. So I'll look in the comment sections and see if y'all are interested in maybe some separate videos on that kind of information. But for now, I think I've covered it all. Well, I'll update it hopefully within the next 7 days. I want to keep it consistent as I can. I know I've missed a few days here and there, but I think I've given plenty of information so far over the months that I've been doing this. This is a very reliable method to kind of manage your portfolio. So as we start to hopefully get a recovery and we get back into these dollars and multiple dollar prices, there's going to come a time when there's going to be profit takers in this market, and we may see some declines in 10%, 20%, 30% as people are taking profits, right? I don't want anybody to be scared out of the market, but I do want you to be able to see where that trend may turn, and if it breaks the 19, don't be afraid to take a portion off the off of your gains already, right? Take profits and actually be able to redeploy those profits at a lower price and actually grow your bag so that when price then retraces back up, you're actually making even more additional money. And so that's what I'm here for. I appreciate everybody that has been watching these videos and enjoying this information. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. I'll be on Twitter Spaces, of course, later today. Thank everybody that's part of these communities, and let's continue pushing forward. So thank you all. Have a great day, and I hope you all continue to prosper.